Hello and welcome to the sick folks of cinema. Not fucks. I am your host this week, Keith Graber. That's my name. Don't wear it out. And with me are a bunch of other sick folkers. Starting with, in no particular order. In fact, I'll go, you know what? I'll go worst to best.
So I'm first. Thanks.
I forgot you were here, Ellis. I'm sorry. So Ellis Hoffmeister's with us. He's a new permanent member of the Sick Folks.
I'm trapped in this beyond the Black Rainbow situation here.
Mm-hmm. Ellis always has a situation.
Yep.
We have Stefan Bowman. Take a Bowman. Bowman? Take a bow.
Or
Stefan.
bowel movement. That works.
And we have Christina Ceballos.
Hi.
That's not how her name is pronounced in Oregon. But doesn't matter.
How is it pronounced?
I don't know. They would say it wrong and then say, like, you're wrong for pronouncing it the right way. Apparently.
Christina Onion.
It's like, get off my lawn. I'm not.
So, everybody, let's talk about the best part of this show, which is ourselves. So, Ellis, what have you been watching lately?
Well, I watched a few classics, right?
Okay,
here.
great. Stefan.
What an asshole.
No, go ahead, Ellis.
God, I hate him.
Oh,
What have you been up to?
I watched House 2.
Ooh.
Okay, and by watching House 2, I mean I have tried to watch House 2 so many times.
I remember the House series.
Never made it through the second one, and I have put it on so many times, and I fall asleep every single time. First one is like a weird little classic, and the second one is like just the most bizarre little extra. They even make a joke about it in Scream 2. It's great. I also want to say I started watching a movie called Body Melt, which is streaming on Amazon. If you haven't seen it, it is this weird Australian film, and it is bonkers. Stefan, have you seen it?
Lots of trailers. My buddy bought it. He keeps trying to push me to buy it.
Oh my gosh, I feel like you would love it. It's so fucking weird. You would be so in. Like, it starts out, and I was like, "What I need?" Like, I mean, it just is such a mixture of films where you're like, I don't know what the fuck I'm watching or what's happening, or it's just epic. You guys.
Yeah, my buddy said it's bizarre, like that film, The Stuff.
Oh yeah, which I've still never seen.
Yeah, that's weird.
I've heard.
Stuff?
I love.
Yeah, it's like a yogurt or something. They eat it, and then like the blob, it just rips out of them and goes over, and it's
I would love
cheese-tastic.
to feed Keith that yogurt. That would be great for me. I finished watching Hacks. I watched a great film. He loves yogurt. Girls Will Be Girls, which is a hilarious comedy that I feel like Christina may have seen. Maybe she hasn't.
I believe I have. Sorry, my cat's like, hello, ma'am.
She has cat issues. And if you guys haven't seen it, I See You is a really fun horror film.
Talking about the one with
thriller. No, I See You is it's Helen Hunt.
Okay, now I've seen the pictures.
So it's the letters.
I've seen trailers.
Like, intensive care unit. Is that what it is?
Okay, let's just move on to the next person while we're at it. I mean, it's more worth
it. Is it like a hospital drama? Is it?
I'm
just trying to understand what you're saying. Your accent is.
You're such a. You know what I would love to do? I would love to push Keith into that black blob of whatever that guy went into in this week's movie. That's what I would love. And then to watch him vomit out his insides
if I went in there. Yeah.
It probably would. You kind of look like that guy.
In what way?
In all you both don't have hair. But then again, neither do I.
You're half right. Yeah.
That's it. That's all I got this week.
All right, that was good enough. Stefan, what have you been watching?
I just continue watching The Fear the Walking Dead for all the awesome zombie stuff, and then I finished the second season for, and I'm probably gonna pronounce this word wrong, Prodigal Son.
Prodigal.
Yeah, really good series, man. I really want season 3 really bad. Oh my god, such a good damn show. And then to kind of show my kids some stuff, I showed her Beetlejuice. She loved it. Never seen it before. I showed her what was it, Silent Hill, the first Silent Hill film, and she
That's one
actually,
of my favorites.
oh yeah, she made me watch it twice with her. She liked it that damn much.
That's a
And
big
then,
jump.
oh yeah, and then I showed her Escape Room because the sequel's coming out. I'm going to take her with me. She thought she liked it, but not as much as Silent Hill. And then I showed her The Conjuring, the first Conjuring movie, and she likes that one quite a bit. And so I'm excited to show her, 2 and 3 at some point. That's pretty much, other than the film that we watch, that's pretty much it.
Wow, so it's been a light couple weeks for you.
Yes.
Stefan's busy.
I'm trying, man.
All right.
I'm trying.
Tina, you have to do all the heavy lifting here. What have you been watching?
Okay, well,
Gina.
I've been watching a lot because I've been forced to go back to work, and my body and brain just do not adjust well to changes like that. So, like Ellis, I did finish Hacks. It was great.
It was great.
It's set up for season 2, and I was
Perfect.
like, "Wah!" I loved it. I thought it was so great. Loki came out this week. Y'all know that I love Marvel and anything comic booky and superhero-ish. So
And Tom Hiddleston.
Yes. I do love me some Tom Hiddleston. But in preparation for that, we went back and started watching, after the first episode, which was really good, we went back and watched Infinity Wars and Endgame in preparation, and it's been a while, and I cried my eyes out at both of the endings to those. I was like, I've seen this before, it should be great. Nope. I mean, if I have to say spoiler alert for...
I haven't seen them, Christina. I don't know what
Ellis,
happened.
Earmuffs,
spoiler
Ellis. I mean, when he snaps and half of them I just started bawling. Like, the one part that I cried in the movie theaters was Spider-Man.
Yep, Peter Parker. Yes.
That was when I cried. I just started crying at the very beginning. As soon as Bucky Barnes just disappeared, I was just waterworks. And even Ed was like, "Oh my God, are you crying? Shut up." It's emotional. I know what happens to these people now. I'm more invested. So, if you have watched WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I would highly suggest, even just if you watched WandaVision, you gotta watch Loki, because it's doing exactly what I thought it would, which is tying into the Doctor Strange movie that's coming out, the Multiverse of Madness. And it's wild. Like, I'm watching this and so many things popping up from different movies. We're like, oh my god, you could just connect everything together. So that for me is just chef kiss.
Yeah,
and they already signed on. It's the only Marvel TV show so far that's signed on for a season 2. They already got Loki down on season 2, which I have no complaints about, because
Hiddleston,
and you know what? Owen Wilson
Oh no, yeah, he's doing
is
good.
as Morbius, Agent Morbius. He is awesome.
Yeah.
He is so great in this role, and yeah, it's wild. So if you have any sort of interest in that, I highly suggest Loki. Highly. And I don't know. We've just been watching like movies. Like, I watched Bridesmaids last night because Ed's never seen Bridesmaids.
Great movie. Oh man.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, rewatching that, I do it all for what's her name, Melissa McCarthy.
Oh yeah.
She is
it
by
gets
far
better and better and better
the
every time you watch
funniest character in that
it. She
movie.
should have
I
won the
agree.
Oscar for
So
it.
good.
She
There
was
should
fucking
be Oscars
fabulous.
for that
Should've.
kind of stuff. There
She
should be.
she
It
was
was so
nominated,
funny.
as was screenplay, but
It was
neither one,
so
which
funny.
is wild.
Yeah.
They're racist against comedies.
And
I
horror,
think so.
horror and comedies very
comedies.
rarely get love.
Yeah,
And they should.
at the Oscars. Yeah. And I think that's all I watched.
That's
I'm
it?
excited for... I think so. I
Am
mean,
I
it's
the-
all just a blur. Like, I'm excited for Rick and Morty coming out on
Yeah, me
Sunday.
too. Yeah.
Like, really, really excited. I keep saying the pop-up that they're doing at Wendy's all over TikTok. There's, like, one, I guess, in Panorama City. I don't know if that's right. but they've
Panama.
turned.
It's pronounced Panama.
They're
Is it
only
Panama City?
they're only
No.
selling
See?
pickles. They're not selling anything except for just
No,
pickles.
they have. Okay, so I've seen the menu. They turned Wendy's into Morty's.
But they're
Okay.
sentient pickles, right?
I don't think so. They have a
Regular
pickle Rick Frosty with like
Oh.
fried pickle chips on top,
Oh,
and
boy.
it looks really like
Gross.
it's that kind of baby poop green that you're just
Mm.
like, ooh, I don't know.
I would love to eat a nice bowl of diarrhea.
Is
for
it
lunch.
is it with pickle juice?
Ooh.
I don't know. Like it's just a frosty, and it's got like these like pickle chips just sprinkled on
Chunks.
top for the old razzle dazzle. You
Hmm.
know, like I don't know. It's really like they're like actual chips. So I don't know. That's not something I'd be down with, but
Hmm.
I am. Yeah, I'm excited for Rick and Morty on Sunday, and I feel like I'm forgetting so many things, but that's all I can remember watching.
Yeah. Am I the only one who gets anxiety over the idea of the Marvel universe? Like, it just the idea of like, if I haven't seen much of it, and I'm like, just what do I have to do to get caught up? It would be like going to fucking med school. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't even imagine.
I
somebody
haven't
thinking
seen
that.
most of them, so I just when I watch them, I just go, I'm not gonna understand a big chunk of this because I'm not that into it, Keith. So I'm always like, when I watch WandaVision, I was like, I don't care if I don't get half of this. Like, I'll just watch it and either like it or not.
And
To
they did
me-
something. Sorry, I just want to say they did
Go ahead.
something that like seemed cute at first, but now it's like fucking blowing my mind.
Exhausting. It's
They're
like
all
Lord of the
intertwined.
Rings.
and sort of the end credit scene sets up like this is going to set up 3 movies from now, and then this thing and that, and if you didn't see the end of this, you won't understand the sequel to that. And it's like,
Can you imagine the storyboard nightmare that is?
Yeah.
Just
Sorry, go
like
ahead, Chris.
some poor writer is like, like a Disney executive is sobbing.
But
somewhere.
that's why DC, in my opinion, that's why DC is not on par with Marvel, because
It's
Marvel
why I like DC more
planned-
because it doesn't give a fuck.
It
It's way more with
planned
my feelings about things.
Like they planned so hard for all the different
Merchandising.
phases. Merchandising,
it's a
yeah.
rollout.
Merchandising.
It's a
Yeah.
rollout. And-
Disney
You
and-
can just
saw
hear
this.
Mel Brooks in the background.
Yeah.
Merchandising.
Merchandising.
Yeah.
Disney saw this and they were like, we're going to capitalize on every single
Oh, yeah.
ounce of this, which they have. But I don't know. I don't think you need to. It depends on what you're watching. Like, I told people, if you don't like
I'm
Marvel,
happy for everyone. Like they pull in every actor under the sun, and it's great, and everyone gets work. I'm stoked for it. I'm just not that into it. Like,
happy-
Yeah.
but I'll watch them and be like, oh, I enjoyed that. Like, but I'm not like, oh my god, the new Doctor Strange, I must.
oh, I am.
But I
I'm
do love some
absolutely
Rachel
that
McAdams.
person.
So,
So, if anyone's interested, I've been watching. No, I finished.
you want to know everything you've watched.
I didn't finish, but I watched a little more Hacks. I think I'm up to like episode 8 or 9. I don't know
Okay.
how many episodes are in the first
So
season.
I think there's 10, so I think
There's
you're
10.
almost done.
There's
But
10.
it just, I think episode 7 is where it turned a corner for me and started to get good, which is not good. You shouldn't have 6 bunk episodes.
Fuck
and then
Keith
fucking
Graber
on
and his
7
opinions
starts
on
to
hacks.
corner.
He
Yeah.
can be the only one who doesn't like it, and I'm
But
fine.
it's
with
where
Keith being blown up.
it was the first moment where like there was character development and there was,
There's
sort of-
character development through the whole thing. You just don't.
no, it's just they're bickering, they're bitter.
Keith hates. Fuck off, Keith. Keith hates an
And
an unlikable character.
they're dragging me through it. Like there's
Well, then just stop watching, but don't because you
can't.
watch to the
I
end.
started watching.
I can't, which means it's really good.
Actually,
at
I
sucking me
kind
in.
of would, but it just started to get good. So I'm like, okay. And then there was a scene where when what's her name? Jean Smart was toasting her daughter at the party.
Oh, that part's great.
She had 2 good punchlines in a row. That never happened throughout the entire series until that fucking episode. That's what I'm saying. The writing is so weak. They're not giving them the
No.
lines to deliver. They're not giving Jean Smart lines
No.
to deliver what she
she's
can
given
do.
so much. She's great. It's all great. I disagree hard.
This is
Keep moving
Ellis.
on.
This is the definition of toxic positivity. You're like,
No,
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 no.
no.
everything's great.
Everything's great. Fuck
Definition
you.
of
Fuck
toxic
you for that
positivity.
impression.
And
And
I'm being realistic. I'm being like, I'm actually,
no,
I
you're just
respect
being
them enough to give them the
inherently
criticism
negative,
that they do.
which is fine because you're on the outlier of that. You can have the criticism. I'm just gonna say fuck you for the criticism, but because it's funny. But
Yeah, fuck you is a pretty good punchline.
But that's pretty good
How'd you
because
come up with it?
I don't
Is that
know.
yours?
You know,
Is that yours?
I think I stole it from somebody. I don't know.
You don't
I
steal
know.
jokes, dude. You know.
I know, right? But just fuck, it's overly used, and I thought like it's time now. Okay, we're really going off topic. What else did you watch?
The flamethrower.
What
By the
else
way,
do you watch? I disagree with you, but you can have your opinions, and I can say your opinions
Eminem
are
is
wrong.
the guy who
Keep going.
invented giving the finger to the camera. He's
How often have you seen me? Okay, never mind. Let's move on.
which is super cool all the time. And like, actually, Eminem can't give the finger. He gives like a rat paw. Ever see him in pictures? It's always like this.
you and people not knowing how to
That's
give the
that's
bird
the finger
is-
that he gives to people. It's like, sorry for the folks at home that can't see. I just mashed my fingers like a squirrel got its hand jammed in a car door. And
So what else did you
that's
watch?
Eminem's middle finger. I just been watching a lot of reruns and bullshit. I watch the Science Channel. I could bore you with all the science facts I learned, but I watched a few episodes of Samurai Jack.
Ooh.
Mhm.
I love Samurai Jack.
I don't think
Samurai
I've ever
Jack was a classic.
seen it.
Like it was
good,
so
good stuff.
underrated on Adult Swim, but it was so good for what it was. It was so good.
I want to get into the movie, but I want to ask a touchy question about like, so when does that get canceled for having a black actor voice an Asian character in cartoon? You know what I'm saying? Like we're on that verge where we're like, everything has to be this, and it's like, really? Does it? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think if they were to bring it back now and are they still continuing with it? Is it still being done?
I heard something about, oh no, they did reboot it. They did
Okay.
they did like an extra 2 seasons or a season that was
Yeah, I think if they were continuing it,
yeah.
they would probably address it at some point, but it's kind of in that like past thing where they might, have feelings about the past, but they're going to only change it for the future.
Yeah, I think there's some
Same.
things people fudge on purpose.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I agree. At what point do you draw the line and say, okay, we got to slow down a little bit?
Well, that's kind of a continual
And
topic
I get the
of
sentiment that
conversation.
it comes down to maybe like a non-white performer.
Well, and I don't think we're there yet as a culture because I think we're trying to address these things and then the nuance of certain things it's still way far out in the future. We're like, we're gonna like complain about it. We're gonna be like, what is this? Why is this happening? Why are we doing this? What is it? Like, if you don't like a certain thing or you question it or whatever, but like, I think the majority of the culture is still probably years away from actually addressing some of the things. And it'll also depend on like how inequality changes, because once inequality changes, those things will matter less.
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
my thing on that is honestly whoever is the best for the job should get the job is where I kind of stand. If you have an amazing Asian actor that is available to do it, great. But if you do not, whoever is the best for the job, who busted their ass to get the job, that's the person who should get the job. That's just my opinion though.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with that, but I think I mean, on paper that's a solid argument, but what ends up happening is that, do you know how many people there are to go through for these jobs?
Oh, probably like hundreds of thousands.
And that's kind of the continual, because that's I think that's the kind of two sides of the argument. And like, what is they could probably go through tens of thousands of Asian voice actors. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it doesn't always come down to exactly that. It's like, oh, well, I know this guy, so and I've worked with him before.
It's a big.
Anyway, that's a rabbit hole for another episode.
But it's a great question. It's a great question, and I think those are.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. And I think we're gonna keep. We just have to keep having those conversations.
Yeah, the biggest names they could get, honestly, is what Ken Watanabe, who did a lot of the recent Godzilla stuff.
Oh yeah.
What is Keanu Reeves, because he is mixed Asian, and that could please two different sides right there. And then the other actor is Donnie Yen, who's fucking amazing. If you've seen any of the Ip Man movies that he's in, holy shit.
Well, and when it's live action, it's different because then we're sort of like pushing a beauty standard or a cultural standard of
or money. A lot of times it just
right
comes down to money. It comes down to who can sell it, what name can sell it. That's what it comes down to most often, more than anything else.
Well, then
and
Keanu
honestly,
Reeves is either picked, probably.
That's a better argument. It's if you say I want to do a picture with this star, and the choice of picture that we came up with was this that actually has a different
well, the star system totally, what people forget about Hollywood is it's still completely full of shit, and it's based on artifice, and it's a total system that is based on money. Like it's all based on what can sell to what market.
Yeah.
What?
And so that's a better argument even than it's the only person we could find. You know, like no, we wanted to build a thing around this, and we're challenging that actor to play this ethnicity, etc. Or this. So I don't think that's actually a bad thing. But you know, we're sentimental in this country.
Should we move into Beyond the Black Rainbow?
Yeah, you want to host the rest of the fucking?
No, you fucking host. I was just moving the conversation along.
You said we were doing that. I was just wrapping it up.
Oh my gosh.
So, guys, now that we're wrapped up, we should talk about Beyond the Black Rainbow.
Such a prick. This show is just going to be Keith and I arguing eventually. Like Christina and Stefan are just going to be like, we can't anymore with you two.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
I mean, I'll get fired first for sure, but you know.
Ellis, that'll never happen. I can mute you. It's fine. So all right. Overall consensus. Let's rate this film because we can skip the combo. No, I'm kidding.
Did we say rate or rape?
Rate.
Pretty sure it was rate.
Okay. Why would I not say rate?
Okay.
But did anyone else question if this movie was going to be rapey in the earlier parts of it? Because I was sitting there through the first chunk of it being like, what's happening here? What's going on?
It was
and by that I mean
uncomfortable.
What's going on the entire movie?
Yeah, I never had a sense of what was happening.
Wait, can I take over hosting duties for 1 second and say for 1 second? Okay. And by that I mean 20 seconds.
And that was Ellis Hoffmeister as your host. I voted for Ellis. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. No, can everyone go around and try to explain what the fucking plot of this movie was? That's what I want to know. What everyone's different plot interpretation was.
There wasn't one.
There was.
She
but
was
it was
trapped. This girl was being held captive by a creepy dude.
Mm-hmm.
And she was being heavily drugged, and she just wanted to get the fuck out of there. Is that just, that's pretty much what was going on, right?
This is what happens when the dream of the 60s dies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
you know what I think here?
Cult gone wrong. Cult leader gone wrong.
So what happens in a lot of times when people are writing, they write around a scene or an idea. You know, like there's one scene. Either a lot of times it's the ending. Sometimes there's like a pivotal moment in the movie that they conceptualize and they write around that, and that's fine.
Thank you for explaining writing to us, Keith.
This I'm setting up my fucking statement. This was developed around somebody was dicking around with Adobe After Effects and was like, cool, 80s stuff. And then they're like, why don't I have a horror movie with this theme? And it's just, that's it. This is a visual art project. And then they're like, well, what if there was a horror movie with people, I guess, like in like a facility and there's someone captive? I don't know. You come up with the rest.
You guys pull the rest. I just want this dope synth. That's all I need. Yeah. I just need to, that was the only good part of the movie, was the music. And that was it. Like, I felt like it had like a Stranger Things kind of vibe, and I was like, okay, this is setting me up for maybe kind of liking it. And then it just stuck with the music, and I was like, that's about as far as I go, I guess.
I would say
That's the end of all I get from the Black Rainbow is the music. That's about it.
Well, I did like I do agree the music is very 80s nostalgia. It was really good. It had a very George Lucas THX kind of stylistic.
I was just gonna
to
say
Yes.
that. I have that
Yes.
written. This is like a George Lucas like high school film. That's what it.
Well, it is. That was one of the influences. Yeah.
Okay, so I really got that kind of like student graduating USC student film vibe to it.
That was the vibe.
I really like the music. It's a slow burn, so the payoff you really have to very much be in for the long haul. Because maybe it might blow its load too soon. I don't know. But I did like some of the moments in there were very like the whole stuff with I don't even know what you would call it because it kept messing with the color and shit. But that what was it, the black liquid? I don't know the blood.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
I
wondered, was it a pool of blood? Because we're seeing it all in black and white. I was like, was it a pool of blood?
That's what I don't,
Okay, y'all want to hear some fun facts?
Oh,
I want to answer Stefan's question. The oversaturation and stuff with the that was called we can't afford special effects.
Nope, incorrect on that.
We don't want this
incorrect
to look
on
like,
all of that. Actually,
really doesn't look
everything
like
was intentional.
So let's just like do a bunch of saturation, so you can't tell.
Everything was intentional. They did shoot it really quickly, but they did not spare on the special effects.
They shot it quickly. How come it wasn't quick for me to watch it?
I know, right? I knew you would say that. They shot it in 3 weeks, actually.
That's not how long it still is.
They shot all that in 3 weeks?
So this movie, the budget was about 1.1 million.
Yeah, they didn't.
This
it was an expensive movie.
Pesos?
Oh, nope, not pesos. That's dollars. And opening weekend in US and Canada, they made $5,000.
Yeah, they did not make much money on this
and movie. The gross for US and Canada was $56,000. And that's how much they made worldwide as well. So
I can see why it was so long between movies.
Yeah, it was definitely not this person's best film by far.
Well, if we're judging by money, I mean, it became a cult classic pretty much instantaneously, and it's shown up on a ton of best of lists.
I have seen the name here and there.
And this movie really laid the groundwork for Mandy to be made.
I do like me some Mandy. I'm not gonna lie. I like a little bit of crazy Nicolas Cage.
If you don't like Mandy, you're really not gonna like this.
I haven't seen Mandy.
I've never seen Mandy
I think Keith and Stina might like Mandy a little bit better.
Yeah, I think you guys would like Mandy way better.
There's a little more story. Shit that happens.
There's more of a story.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing. I thought the cinematography was gorgeous, and I thought it was beautiful, and it was clearly to me, when I was like, they shot it all on a 35 millimeter camera with, and they modified it, and they wanted it to have this kind of grainy 70s and 80s look. So it was really intentional, all they were doing while shooting it. And while I was watching it, I had the thought of like, this kind of reminds me of The Keep. And then while I'm reading about it, I was like, two of the biggest influences were Manhunter and The Keep, early Michael Mann films. And The Keep is also another one of those films that's absolutely stunningly gorgeous. But if you're like, what's the plot of The Keep? You're like,
who knows?
You're like, it's beautiful, like to watch, where you're just sitting there going like, oh my gosh. I was sitting here watching it and going, I'm loving how beautiful this is. And I'm loving the sound, and I'm loving the soundtrack. The scariest part to me was the sound, because there were so many loud beeps and stuff, and I'm such a jumpy person that every time something would like click or move, and because you had no idea what's going on the whole movie, you're just sitting there like, I'm gonna be fucked this whole time, aren't I? Because it's just, you're never gonna know what's coming the entire movie, because you're kind of like, I don't even know what's happening.
Are we talking about the same movie?
This movie. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I agree.
Okay, I was like, wait, what?
I agree the cinematography was beautiful, but
Oh,
I think at times there was like too much of it. Sometimes there was too many like weird close-ups and sort of like short focus shots that are just like establishing, like that's your exposition sometimes, you
But
know?
it
like
felt,
that-
but it felt like the whole movie, he was really trying to be like, this is like the films that inspired him. Dark Star, Suspiria, Persona, THX, like you could see it all really in it, where you were like, oh, I can get that. I can see where the influences are. I can see what this person's going for. Do you know what movie allowed this movie to happen?
Who
No,
did
but
this?
we should blame that movie.
Tombstone.
What? Tombstone?
So Tombstone was
What?
directed by the director's father, who also directed Rambo 2 and Cobra.
Mhm.
And the royalties for Tombstone allowed this movie to be made
There
because
you go.
he had enough money built over this. So this was his like passion project.
Oh my
well,
god.
For
And
his,
it
for his,
also
for his
Rambo
son.
was a good movie. That was the second one.
second one.
Yeah, that won an Oscar.
Tombstone's one of my favorite.
Oh, Tombstone's
I've
amazing.
never
Oh.
seen Tombstone.
Happy
Oh, it's one of the
Huckleberry.
best cowboy movies ever made.
Yes.
As far as
I'm
modern
a huge
ones.
like Western fan. So,
Oh, same,
like,
same.
I love Westerns and Tombstone's
Same. Pale
one of
Rider,
the good
Hingham
ones.
High, Josie Wales. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
But
anyone
it
else?
just-
Did anyone else catch the William S. Burroughs?
Yeah.
I could have been like. I
No,
always
that was
assumed
another one of his big reference points was
Okay,
Burroughs.
yeah.
So you're right on that.
the
That was
Benway
also another
Pharmacy
thing.
pills.
Yeah. That was so like intentionally. I thought like artistically, I thought the film was amazing. Like I was sitting through the whole thing, going like, "Wow, this is really beautifully done." Now at a 2-hour length, I was kind of going, maybe no, never mind. Like the whole time.
Maybe no.
I just kept thinking to myself, like, especially that sequence where they go back to 1966 and it's all that like really like everything has been desaturated, the whole thing. It's based on a film called like an experimental horror film from the 60s from the 90s called Begotten, which I've never heard of.
I've heard of that, but I've never seen it.
And then like the whole acid trip was based on Contempt, the Godard film. So like this person, it's like someone's peeing in the background or something, or someone's washing something in a sink okay.
That's me.
Got it.
I was taking a stink
You're
bath.
peeing while you do.
Oh, Ed's
You're like
doing dishes. Sorry.
Keith is. I just imagine Keith like from the waist down is just in a bathtub right now. And just isn't telling any of us.
With a shirt on.
Yeah, with a shirt on, like you do. But yeah, it was one of those films where I was like, as I don't know, as an actor and as a filmmaker, I was like, I would love to work with this person, and I think his vision is amazing and beautiful, and especially having seen Mandy, I'm like, yeah, I would give my right arm to work with this person. But this film in and of itself, I don't love it as much as I admire it. Almost what I would feel about it.
I could see that.
Like by the end of it, I was like, okay, no one really dies until like 40 minutes in.
Yeah.
And then, and by that point, you're kind of like, I'm stressed out through this whole movie, but
I was bored.
I mean, this is a short film that's been extended.
yeah,
visually.
it did have that feeling. It
Wait.
It
did.
would have been
Yeah.
so much better as just like a short.
Like
Because
this
you
is
could
the
pack
Zack
all
Snyder
the good
cut.
stuff.
That we watched the Zack Snyder cut. The trailer. The guy that edited that
Fucking
trailer
Zack
should have edited
Snyder.
the fucking film. Like that-
Well, and the amount of was anyone else just like, I had 8,000 questions the entire time watching it, and it wasn't a movie. You know how some movies, they're so visually stunning and you don't really care what the plot is. You're so like kind of wrapped up in everything, and I enjoy a lot of those types of movies, but this was just one where I was like, I'm admiring it, but I'm also sitting here going like, 20 minutes left? Like how, like if I would have been watching it in the theater, I would have been like, oh boy, like what?
looking at your
but
watch.
but maybe I would have loved it, because then you would have had to solely like be completely sucked into it to such a degree that it might be better. Like, I think it should probably be seen on a massive screen with really loud sound.
Well, box office numbers say quite the contrary to that.
Well, we all know how box office, that indicates what the masses want. And this is not a film for the masses.
This film gave me a vibe of, like, when you go to a really nice restaurant and the plate that you order and you get is so beautiful. Everything sounds really good. And then you eat it and you're like, I don't like it. I don't like it. I'll take a picture of it for the gram and that's about it.
I don't like it. I didn't even dislike this film. It just, it was like they weren't giving me enough. There wasn't enough substance behind all of the visual sort of aesthetics.
Which to me doesn't always matter, but it just, you were sitting there kind of going, like, by the end I was like, okay.
Okay, and can we talk about that ending though?
Can we also talk about when he goes heavy metal, the doing drugs and drinking around the campfire and all that kind of stuff, which is that shows up in Mandy as well. That shows up a lot in Mandy.
That's one of his trademarks, is a character doing LSD.
He's very, like, you can see his heavy metal influence, but I was just like, after all of this, that was the one part of this movie I would have cut out completely, because it gave us nothing except saying, like, oh, this guy can kill people. He's like, where is she?
Or that should have happened much earlier.
Right. Yes, I agree with you.
And give us some horror, give us some murder, give us some terror and fear up front, so we know what this is about.
Yeah, give us something to be like, because I was truly, like, just bored. Like, every time, like, a Tubi commercial came on, I was like, woo, cars!
Did anyone else have the lawyer with the eagle that was like, Benjamin and Rothschild, and it was like, ah! I was like, this is the best juxtaposition right now between this movie and this terrible advertisement.
It's
such like two sides of the coin.
I see, like, furniture ads. I get always the latest ones.
I always get car commercials.
I was gonna say though, a good example of, like, how to and how to not do this type of film is we reviewed Under the Skin. And it sort of had the same vibe, like, I
thought that too.
There's like this.
This film made Under the Skin look like the most, like, explained out movie you've ever seen.
Yeah,
and it made it like, you want all the answers? Go watch Under the Skin. Under the Skin,
they pulled it off. Here, that I think they fell short, and because I think there was a lot more substance in what was happening in Under the Skin. And there was, like,
I just needed a little more. If you would have given me just a tidbit more of any of it, I would have been like 1,000% more into the movie.
Or less. This could have been like a 25-minute short film.
Yeah,
and just
100%.
bam, 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 and I would have been like, okay, that was cool. This guy should make a feature length. But
and then we would regret it.
I feel like we're gonna have to watch Mandy at some point, and, like, because Mandy, I feel,
is way better.
Well, but Mandy is also, and it's funny because aesthetically, I almost like this movie more than I liked Mandy. But Mandy is so bonkers at some points that I'm just like, this is just chef's kiss.
Yeah,
Cage Rage.
Think
and
of the
Andrea
bad guys.
Riceborough and the bad. Yeah, there's so much in that. But
think of the bad guys from Weird Science and The Hills Have Eyes, kind of
it's so
like
bizarre.
vibe. And those are like the bad guys for Mandy.
and it's such a bleak movie. But
who said we should talk about the ending? The whole thing. The guy just dies by hitting his head on a rock.
That was my angriest. I was like, okay, this movie ended with the fart emoji. I was like, what?
I was sitting there, and she just
like tripped. He trips he can't get after all of that, he can't get out of a tree root, and it kills him.
Like
literally, and she's just like, okay.
She doesn't say a word.
It was like Elvis going out on the toilet. You know what I mean? Like it was just so unsatisfying.
If his head would have exploded like Scanners, I would have been more pleased. That's what I was waiting for.
If you know those unsatisfying videos on YouTube where they cut the pie wrong and you're like, don't do that. That's what it was like watching that dad.
The pie wrong.
You're Climb the pyro.
Had a cat backwards. You know, it's just like, oh, don't, why?
Also, was anyone else wondering, like, is this his daughter? Is this his lover? What is happening here? Like, I had so many questions about what they're.
It's
no one else.
the doctor. It's the guy in the basement's daughter.
Okay.
Ish. It was his wife.
Because they kept talking about
her throat out.
Yeah.
He bit her throat out. I was like, what? Okay.
I think so.
And then he kills his wife, mom.
Yeah.
By smashing her eyes out. I was like,
I don't know.
Okay.
It's confusing. So
that whole time I was like, I feel like I'm watching the scene with Rutger Hauer at the end of Blade Runner, but nothing, but it's not as good. And then he has to give him his morphine. I was like, what? The entire like it wasn't like everyone was committed. I didn't have an issue with the acting because I felt like everyone was fully committed to what they were doing in the film. Yeah, and I thought they did a great job of doing what they're doing, but I felt like he was like, okay, we're gonna let the camera run for like, you just do whatever you want. Like it was so many long takes like that where I was like, I love this so much, me personally, but at the same time, I just need something else. Just a little itty bitty. Give me something.
I think it needed someone who was a little bit further away from the film in order to enhance the film. Because then they would have been able to tell him the cold, hard, honest truth, which is, this shit's too long, bro.
But by the time they shot it, there's no fixing it. It needed a better script. They needed more, more.
But it's interesting because it was so intentionally done. Like when you go back and read the backstory of it, it's like every little detail was so specific that you're kind of sitting there going like, it's hypnotic, but it's also like.
Well, sometimes that'll bite people in the butt.
Yeah, totally.
You have a script.
You want to put
have
in
a
so
story.
much. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you have this in your mind, and to you this is brilliant and makes so much sense, but that's like.
I remember
doing an entire stand-up set with just inside jokes that only you and your friends know. Like, yes, it's hilarious in the context, but nobody else gets it. And I think that's where he, like, every single detail was thought out, but nobody got it because nobody understood it.
But I think we did get it. That was what, like, Keith picked up on stuff. I picked up on stuff. Like, Christina, we all picked up on stuff. So it wasn't like we didn't get it. It just felt like it still needed just a little bit more in there where I'm like, just give us something in the first like hour to be like, okay, that's really like, it was like, this element's cool. This is really cool. This is really cool.
There needs to be more to get. You know what this was? This is like a movie that would be good playing on a TV with the sound off in like a underground bar or something, and you're like, oh, that looks like a cool film. Maybe I'll watch that sometime. And then
I wanted to have taken drugs while watching this movie, but then I knew that I would just be laying in a fetal position sobbing while watching this movie because it was so intense, just so upsetting.
I thought about that and I was like, no, that would be a bad idea.
It would be such a bad idea.
Out of 5 stars, how do we rate this?
2.
Okay. You know what? Let's just cut it short, guys. Everyone yell a number.
3. I'll give it a 3.
Christina's 2 stars?
2 stars. I mean, I was bored. I shouldn't be bored during a horror movie. Like, there was points where I was like, I wonder what's going on TikTok. No, I have to watch the movie.
Yeah, keep watching. You might learn something or not.
I'd give it a 2. I really like the 80s nostalgic synth music. I really like the cinematography. I really like the sets. Acting was so-so. I really did like whenever they did have blood and guts, the effects were pretty cool for the budget they had. I do agree that the film should have been at least anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes shorter, for damn sure. I 2.
Okay. And Ellis, you're a 3?
I'm a 3. I'll give it a 3.
No, I was saying, Ellis, you're a 3.
I am a 3 out of 10. Yeah. I definitely am a 3. That is correct. Yes. I would give it a 3 out of 10. There was enough of it that I really admired and 3 out of 5. I would have given it a 3 out of 5. There was a lot. My biggest complaint was that I just wanted a little bit more. And it took enough away from the movie for me, but it didn't like kill it. Like I could see myself like putting it on in the future at some point and being like, oh, this is really beautiful. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I like this element of it. Like, so.
Poquito más. I would give it a 2.5. just to be a dick and mess up all the math on that. I think someone have to
Just
because
to figure
just
this
keep
out.
things.
Keith and I got closer to being on the same page, which is really
Oh,
like
this
we're
was-
the Siskel and Ebert of this show.
This is like a
so-
consensus movie
Yeah.
of the sick fucks.
and we all picked it. Every
Yeah.
one of us chose it. Like,
and because it was so visually appealing from the trailer, and we wanted it to be what we wanted it to be, like, and it just
totally.
fell short. And we were like, please come to us and be this awesome film that it looks
like the first
you are.
part of it, I was
They're like,
going
"We
like,
got nothing."
oh God,
Yeah.
when this gets rolling, it's gonna really roll. But
This
I was
was-
like, just kidding.
This is like a
Just
really
kidding.
epic. This was like a really epic, like tense game of poker, and then the guy was bluffing the whole time.
Yeah, I thought
That
it was
is the
gonna go
perfect way
maybe
to
because I'm
describe it.
I'm the pervert in the family of the sick folks. Where I was like, is this gonna get weird and sexual at some point? Because I feel like it could at any minute, and it's not, and I almost want it to.
There
All
was
right,
some
so-
weird sexual tension. I
Yeah,
will
there
say
was.
that.
Thank
And I
you,
was
thank
like,
you. Because I was like, am I the only one that's feeling something?
You know what?
weird here?
I don't think
But
there
I don't.
was. I think
There
that's
wasn't
what-
ultimately, but
we-
it felt like there should be, but there
Yeah,
really
because
wasn't.
you
and it was
assume
very
you make
weird.
certain assumptions based
You're
on
like,
like
it's a cult movie.
the
so
tension
there's
in the
gotta
scene,
be- yeah.
I knew when his
Oh.
wife was getting murdered. I saw that. I was just like, just murder her.
Yeah. Oh,
I
that
already
shit
know
stressed
from the
me out.
music you're doing it. Just
And
kill
the
her.
music. I will say,
Then
I
fuck
was
something because you're probably gonna fuck something. Like, what's going on here? Hurry up.
I will give it this. I was stressed out the entire movie. The movie really stressed me out and freaked me out in a way that it just made me very tense. Like
All right.
the sound really freaked me out the entire time.
Just
So-
messed with my patience.
Will will you guys? Do you want to see what I have for next week?
Yes.
yes,
Yes, please.
I'm gonna share
let's do it.
my stuff with you,
I
and
love
we
when you
are
share your stuff with us.
going to watch
I
Give
love
us
it.
the
I don't wanna
full
watch.
load. We want
The
the full load. okay?
trailers.
I want it all over my visual
Give
feed.
us the full load. Warning.
So who's not an adult here? Stefan?
Oh, this is gonna be bad.
Ooh, Empire.
West is at
yeah.
the top of his class in medical school.
Classic.
My favorite.
Oh, one of the best. Stuart Gordon.
Ugh, I love it.
I think I've seen it, but it was a long
A
time
little
ago.
weird.
And I met Jeffrey Combs.
Broken the 6-12 minute
He's
barrier.
so
Oh, sweetheart.
I love
dude.
him.
Such a
His
sweetheart.
experiments have
Ugh.
always been unorthodox.
The cat.
Dead.
But lately been getting out of hand. And he's just made a discovery that could wake up the dead.
Herbert West has affected
Ugh, he's so
reanimation
hot.
in dead animal tissue.
What are you thinking? How do you feel? You?
That's me when I get up in the morning.
It's just, this one is
Once
so
you wake
good.
up the dead,
Oh,
you've
man,
got a
man.
real
I got all
mess
three of
on your
them.
hands.
All that penis too. So much great nudity.
Like, fight back, bro. No, man.
You're
he's
insane!
good.
Now what happened? I had to kill him! He's dead?
Not anymore.
Oh, yeah, this part.
Herbert West brought a lot of dead people back to life.
That
Not
scene.
one of them showed
Oh, yeah.
any appreciation. H.P.
Ungrateful
Lovecraft's
cadavers.
classic tale of horror, Reanimator.
Fucking classic.
You'll never get credit for my discovery. Who's going to believe a talking head get a job in a sideshow?
Will scare you to
So
pieces.
I love
it's
Jeffrey
so
Combs.
great. I love that movie so much.
1 and 2 are
Animator.
three is pretty
Love
good. But
Rihanna.
1 and
So
2.
all these picks are on Tubi, just to keep it simple. for you
I
people.
love some tubes.
Oh my god, my daughter's gonna be so happy.
Ah,
My daughter's
love
gonna
this
be happy.
movie too.
I've never seen it.
Oh.
Mm.
So good.
That's why we're
It's just the very beginning that could have been tweaked a little bit, but the rest of the film is amazing.
Never go to West Virginia.
It's definitely one of the better video game movies ever made. For sure.
Sharon! Sharon! Somebody
and the same guy who does the video game soundtrack, I forget the Japanese composer, he does the soundtrack for the movie.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Christopher, Sharon's gone. I need your help. I'm not okay. Please, hurry.
Sean Bean.
He dies.
Fire started 30
Seriously?
years ago.
Fuck off.
That you consider that a spoiler?
That he
What's
dies?
happening? Do you know
Sean
what's
Bean
going
always
on
dies.
here? This place is
Oh,
completely
good point.
Not anymore.
Good fair.
It's in his contract that he won't die anymore.
Really?
I haven't seen him in anything
hilarious.
since then.
Good point. Okay, kill him. Don't
She
cast him.
looks exactly like Sharon. Why? Rose, come on! Rose, hurry!
Oh, that's one of the best parts of the movie right there. They run up on the church. Oh,
Never go to church.
Oh,
I'm with you.
To find your daughter, you must face the darkness of hell.
it's okay, baby. Mommy's coming.
Yes.
Yeah, the creatures, Ellis, have a very Cronenberg vibe to them.
This
I love
movie,
me some crones.
seeing this trailer makes me want to play the game.
Oh, the games were
Yeah.
amazing. The first
The
three were
games were
amazing.
so much fun.
Fall
Oh,
of
yeah.
1993, I heard that
Sasquatch.
This next trailer.
Okay, so far 10 out of
Wait,
10.
we're not
Love
watching
these.
Sasquatch? So upset.
This looks really trashy.
Oh, it's a voltage one. Okay, yeah.
Oh, this movie looks like we could make fun of it. Oh no.
Everyone's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
I found your nudes. Now I'm coming for you.
Oh, man.
Wait, we have subtitles for the.
Yeah, why are they not
That was-
talking?
I don't know. It's the worst trailer ever.
Is she pooping?
I hope so.
She's pooping. We're pro
Die in the
poop here.
crapper.
The monster comes to her while she's taking a shit.
Clown phone.
Night of
Here.
the Clowns.
Careful
Night of
when
the
you
Living
download.
Circus is in town.
It's like a trashy teen horror.
For voltage. Bedeviled.
Deviled.
Ugh, that looks like
That
a Keith
has-
pick.
That has to be like a Gen Z horror.
Yeah, no, that's the kind of movie I
because-
hate. I just did that because you guys love trash. So,
Okay, that's fair.
Because it's literally
I
like
almost was like, I feel like I almost should pick it because it looks fucking terrible. But
all right, let's tabulate the votes, people.
okay.
I don't know. I'm gonna go.
I'm really, yeah, I'm 50-50
I'm
for
torn.
Silent Hill and
All right,
Reanimator.
I'll jump this up. I want to watch Silent Hill because I love that movie so much. So I'm gonna pick Silent Hill.
Ellis, I know, wants to watch Bedazzled.
The original or the remake, though?
Yeah, the Dudley Moore or the
Yes.
Brendan Fraser? Which one we going for? Raquel
Brendan
Welch or
Fraser.
Elizabeth Hurley?
Brendan Fraser
first one, then the
all
other.
way.
Okay. I have never seen Silent Hill, but I do want to watch Reanimator again. So I'm gonna go Reanimator. It's been a while. And I love it so much. I've seen it I love it so much.
Stefan, you could be you are the tiebreaker here unless you go for Bedazzled.
Bedeviled. Come on.
Oh,
Bedeviled.
Don't disrespect Brendan Fraser like that.
Yeah, come on.
see, this is a hard one, man. It really is because I just watched the Silent Hill twice.
He wants to watch it a third time. He's like,
my daughter really likes it. Oh my lord.
That's awesome.
That's the only one you haven't seen, right, Ellis?
I haven't seen Bedeviled.
Oh well, we're not talking about that one. That's
Keith's pick.
That's
definitely Bedeviled.
We're not talking about that one.
I thought the clown looked cool. I'm not scared of
the
clowns.
clown part did look funny.
I was trying to prove it.
I'd say Silent Hill.
Okay.
Silent Hill it is then.
What were you gonna pick,
A
Keith?
2-1 vote. It was between Silent Hill and Reanimator, but I've never seen Silent Hill, and it's been a while since I watched Reanimator, so I can go either way. But Silent Hill, I think.
Okay, great.
So that's it, folks. We're gonna watch Silent Hill. You can join us for the review of that next time. I have been your host, Keith Graber, for the Sick Folks of Cinema. With me are Christina Ceballos,
Dance party.
Ellis Hoffmeister, always being weird, and Stefan Bowman. Join us next time, and we'll talk shit about everything. All right, later, people.
Bye.